Good morning, and welcome back to Jody Lewis Creations. In today's video, we are going to talk a little bit about some of the products that I used in the official collaboration day video. Grace at the Serendipitous Crafter asked me to talk about some of those products, so that's what we're going to do. This is my second attempt to start filming this video. I started to do something else, and I was just rambling, and I was like, you know what? Move on, Jody. So I moved on. I have this little make that I'm working on, and this is based off of the day 2 video from the Journal Cottage. So in the link tree for the actual Crafted Christmas in July collaboration, there's a link tree. Go to day 2, the Journal Cottage. She tells you how to make this far better than I was telling you how to make it in my own version. I made it with a heavier card, and I just was like, I don't love it. So I just cut it in half, and now we have these two little tag-shaped pockets that I actually love. I love these. So all of that to say, I came up with this as a byproduct of making this out of too heavy a paper, and I love them. So I am just going to glue along the bottom here. Basically, if you just make this and cut it in half, that's how I did these. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to do one way and the other way. Such technical terms today. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for sticking with me on days like today when I just feel so, I'm really overwhelmed. There's a lot going on this weekend. Oh, happy 4th of July weekend, you guys. I hope that you will have enjoyed your day if you celebrate in the States. For those of you not in the US, hi. Telling you, crazy train. So I said the other day I didn't know if my visitor was coming or not, and as of right now, yes, and should be here later today. So I told Mark, I'm like, I've got to film. He, poor guy, has been so sick. I told you guys the other day he wasn't feeling well, and man, he still isn't. I tried to tell him on Wednesday to go to the doctor. Did he listen? No. So he's worse. But I think he's finally on the uphill swing because he's a good 4 days into this, so goofball. All right, I'm going to set these aside, but what's going to happen is we're going to make some things to stick in these fun little pockets, and then they'll be in our ephemera bin, and we can use them in the journal when I ever get to that. So we'll talk about that a little bit too as we're working. Okay, I have not done anything to the back of these. What I was thinking I would do, what I am going to do, because I printed these on 60-pound paper, so I do not feel compelled to back them all. These are just some bits. Part of my rambling in the first attempt to film was I found so many Christmas things that I have already printed. So I'm going to try really hard to find a cohesiveness in the things that I have already printed and use those in this make, because I mean, what a waste of ink and paper and all of that I've printed so many things and I haven't used them. So that's the plan anyway. Okay, so I got these when Joanne was going out of business and these were on clearance. I got these. I'd wanted some of these for a while, but I just have a really hard time paying that kind of money for some of these products that are seasonal. So when they were on clearance, I was like, I can do that. Or the closeout sale or whatever it is they were doing. Okay, so I'm just going to stencil the back of these. I'm not going to worry about perfection. I just want to add some interest. Is this the right tool? No, it is not. For those of you who are interested in the daubers, I have some in stock. They are $20 shipped in the United States. And I love them. So if you are like me, oh, now my son's here. If you are like me and you have difficulty gripping things, I'm telling you, these are wonderful. I brainstormed with my neighbor who does beautiful woodworking, and I said, oh, see how much better that is with the brush versus what it was with just the thing. Anyway, I brainstormed with my neighbor and I was like, hey, can you help me? And anyway, and he was like, yeah, so he has turned these for me, and oh my gosh, they're wonderful. My hands love them. The few people that have bought them from me have given me really great feedback on them. So anyway, that's my plug for something for sale that I have. And no, they're not in a shop. They are not in my Etsy. They are not in my Ko-fi shop. I don't have them in Etsy because of the fees on Etsy. So those of you who've gone over and favorited my Etsy, thank you so much. I really am in the midst of trying to figure out if I want to list my journals and things back in my Etsy, or if I want to figure out an alternative way to sell them. And the reason I say that is because, I mean, the fees are crazy. That's crooked. I had sold a pack of napkins, and somehow inadvertently some advertising thing had gotten turned on in my Etsy, and they literally took so much in fees that I lost money on that napkin sale. Needless to say, I was not a happy camper. So I am trying to figure out the best way to sell my things and go from there. So I don't know if maybe one of the ways to do that is like put things up for sale in the Facebook group. I don't know. And I know a lot of people are like, you know, skeptical of things like that, but I'm telling you, the fees kill creators because, you know, you try to keep your costs down so that you can sell something, and then they add all the fees on top of it, and it's like, holy moly, man. So that is some random food for thought in regards to selling items. So this is just a quick and easy way to add some interest to the back of your tags. Ideally, you hold them better and they don't move when you're putting interest in the white space. And then what I can do too is my brown brush, just go over them, and whatever ink is left on them will help knock that white space back if you're like me and you don't like the white space. So that's all I'm going to do because I was talking while we were doing that. Okay dokie. So what did I use on make? We used embossing powders. We used glacier paste. We talked a little bit about stickles. So we will just do a few of these in different products. And then if you have more questions after this video, please do not hesitate to ask me. I'm more than happy to answer questions for you. So let's talk first about what? Glacier paste. So Nuvo glacier paste is like what does it say? I don't think it says. Give your craft projects an extra shine, and I can't read that, so it's fine. I have just the tiniest of paintbrushes. And so what I do is let's go with green, and I think we're going to do this tag for right now. So I just get the tiniest bit on my brush, and I just go through and just add some interest. It does not have to be perfect. And this brush has honestly seen better days. It's like all frayed and crazy because I use this little brush for this all the time. And then what will happen is it just adds a little bit of interest to your page. And like, because this is a tree, am I even getting any on there? I am. I can't see it very well. You get, you know, just a little bit of shimmer on there. Okay, so that's it for the green. Then I come in with my gold jelly roll, or any gold pen will work, and you can add highlights like for your branches. Okay. And then what else do we want to do on here? We've got the pine cones. We could do a little bit of gold on the pine cones if we wanted. Sometimes I'll just come in with my pen on these. I think this is what I did on the other. And just, your markings don't have to be perfect. Just roughly follow the shape of, you know, the pine cone here. and just add a little bit of shimmer. And what will happen then, as you hold that up in the different light, you get a little bit of shimmer on your page, okay? So that is the Nuvo Glacier Paste. I love this stuff. I've had these for, probably 3 or 4 years now, probably. So those are those. Now on here we have these little mushrooms, right? So let's talk a little bit about just embossing powder. Now on my make, I use a lot of different colors. In order to simplify this for you, I'm just going to use clear, because clear is going to be a much more versatile product for you to have in your stash. I don't know what brand this is, but you can get, and I'm just not digging my embossing bin out right now, you can get, like, Ranger has clear embossing powder. I know there are other manufacturers. So this is just regular. You can also get fine. The fine is going to allow you to get more details, like if you've stamped a word or you have stamped an image that's got a lot of detail in it, then that is where the fine comes into play. Now, note that whatever is wet on your page when you put your embossing powder down, it's going to stick to. So there is like an anti-static thing. It's like a little chalk bag. You can run over it, or baby powder works, or cornstarch, whatever, that you can use to take the static off of your page. Let's go ahead and do these berries as well. And that will help. And then once you put your embossing powder on your image, make sure that you have a little brush or something that's not the one you just used on your Glacier Paste, okay? So anywhere it is that you don't want it, you actually can knock that back, okay? If you're using embossing powders, I've said this so many times, do not use it in a room where you have a breeze of any sort. Let me heat this. Because if you do it with a breeze, it's going to go everywhere. So now we have little embossed mushrooms. And these are this particular embossing powder is not super shiny, and that's okay, because I just wanted a little bit of interest. And I think maybe sometimes I hadn't heated it enough. So it'll be very matte, or you'll be able to see it and feel it. And then, like, if it feels like there's sand or something on your piece, then you know you haven't heated it enough. If you heat it too long, it actually will become very matte and soak into your paper. So I like to do it in such a way that I'm like under a lamp or something and can hold it at an angle, because then as it starts to melt, you will see it become more shiny. Like, you'll be able to tell. I hope that makes sense. So now we have this little tag that has some interest, okay? I always do this on another sheet of paper, so that way you're never gonna get it all, and you're going to get it everywhere. Just know you're going to get the embossing powder everywhere. Okay, so that is that for the clear embossing powder. Now, one thing about the Distress glazes that I absolutely love is that they are clear. So regular embossing powder is going to dry solid, and you're not going to see what's under it. Where the Distress glazes, what's unique to those is that when you melt them, they're clear, like the clear embossing powder. So it adds a tint of color, but it melts clear. I think that was that. What else was there? So I use this Nuvo embellishment mousse quite a bit. And do we have a piece we can do this on? Right, easily. Not particularly. Oh, you know what? Where did I put my little green pockets? We can do it on there. Here, we have this scrap. I'll just use this scrap. And I'm just going to use my finger with this and my This is done pretty well without drying out. It will dry out. Like, it is changing texture. I can tell it is getting to be, it needs, I need to use it. So I've just got my stencil on there. I'm just going to rub my finger, and it may not because of the design of the stencil, but it's just going to add a little bit of interest to that page. You can just go around the edge of your page with the Nuvo mousse or any kind of embellishment mousse. Yeah, it's not going to show up very well on this. It's what was right here in front of me. But you also can just go around that edge, and it's going to add some gold to your edge. And then one thing I have done from time to time is after I get it on there, you can take your heat tool to it, and it does some fun things that way as well. But it really is just about playing with the product and figuring out what it is that you want to do with it, you know. I think that is it for these, and it depends. Like, I used the Seth Apter Bake Texture. That is a different texture of embossing powder. On the glazes, I did this is a Versa marker, so it's an embossing pen. Distress has one of these as well, and so I just come in here and color with the marker where I want it and sprinkle my glaze on it and heat it. And like on this piece, you can see it is not completely covered. It's kind of dimply, and I do that on purpose. So I could go back over that again and fill in some of those holes where I didn't get it on there or whatever. But for me, with the look I wanted, that's fine. But it just depends on what style you want. Okay, I think that's it. I hope that answered your questions. I know it has come up before with me using these, like, hey, what is that? Whatever. Stickles is another thing that you can use. So this is a glitter glue made by Ranger, and there are lots of different colors. There are different whites. I'm sorry. This one came in a pack of 3 different glittery ones, and I love them. So it's a great way to just like add a little pop of shimmer to his little hat, but you have to let this dry now because it is just like a glue. Hopefully that shows up. But it just adds a little bit of interest to his little cap. So that is the Stickles. I like the Stickles too because like I can put a little bit on my mat here and use my embossing pen wherever it is. And if I just want to do dots, you know, like maybe I want to add some shimmery dots to the tree. Let's do it on the black. Maybe you can see it. Probably not. And so this is just from Dollar Tree. It's got 2 different tips on it. So it just depends on what size I want. Oh, I don't want that one. I want this one. And I can just come in and add some little shimmery dots on here that when this dries, then could look like snowflakes on that tree. Okay. So that's one way. You can use your Stickles. You can do this with the Glacier Paste as well. Like if I wanted to, what's the word? I'm drawing a blank right now. So I'm just going to do this with my red, barely going to dip that in there. And just come in and put some red dots on my tree just to look like little Christmas balls. And then they have to dry. Okay? So that is one thing as well. So now these all have to dry. If I stick my finger in them, it's going to mess them up. But to be honest, my favorite, honestly, the Glacier Paste is so easy to put on. You can put it through a stencil. You can just put it on with your finger. You could put it on with your paintbrush. You can use a little dauber tool. So that's my favorite. And then it is truly a toss-up between the Distress Embossing Glazes and the Nuvo Glacier Paste. Like, what is my favorite thing to use? But there is nothing that's going to make your Christmas project sparkle like the Glacier Paste or your Stickles. I mean, honestly. I did get this recently. This is Snowfall Grit Paste. I have not opened it yet, so we will be using that in an upcoming project as well. and see what it does. So Grace, I hope that answered your questions. If it didn't, please let me know. And thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for your wonderful, kind comments and your wonderful feedback. And I cannot believe the growth of the channel since the beginning of June. It's been amazing. So thank you to everybody for being here. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.